Hey YouTube, I've been using this stick, the Hitbox Crossup, for about 8 months now, and I wanted to get my perspective. But not just any perspective, I've actually been using this stick on the highest level of competition, right? This is me at Red Bull Kumite carrying Hitbox Crossup, although upside down. So I think I have a unique perspective to give on this kind of stick. So I want to split this up into two sections, the pros and cons of using a Hitbox Crossup, and the most defining feature of the Hitbox Crossup, the 4 extra buttons. Are they actually useful? And what kind of competitive advantage do they give you? And how do you use them? So let's get into it. Timestamps below. So I think one of the coolest things about the stick, you can literally remap all the buttons to whatever you want. The software is absolutely super sick. To be honest, I haven't really played with it much, but it seems like if you're into customizable arcade sticks and customizable controls, it seems like one of the coolest features I've ever seen. And then obviously the main pro is the extra buttons, right? That's what you're really paying for. And I'd say another, I guess, bonus is that I think you get a lot of features for a decent price. Like if I were to make my own, I think it would be more expensive than the $300 that it's advertised for, right? You know, it's all standalone buttons. You actually have some extra buttons. You have the cost of the software development that went into making this thing work, the customized PCB that's in this thing. It seems like a good value to me. And also there's this little switch on the side that gives you different modes, and you can apparently use this with Smash. I've never tried, but that seems pretty good. So overall, I'm happy with the purchase. Okay, so let's talk about cons. I would say like okay build quality. So if you look at my stick, there's like these little rivets. Hard to see, but they hold the back plate in place. So I actually lost a few of them. It's almost impossible to see, but it actually lets me like pull this up a little bit. Could be a little better build quality, but apparently they're really cheap to replace, so not the biggest deal. But other sticks I've seen, they kind of like screw in. They're really like firm. The other build quality issue I had was the actual first stick I had, it kept shorting out, and so I get like bad inputs. So I actually had to replace the stick with another SandWall stick, which has worked fine since I've replaced it. Not sure what it was, if there's like dust getting into the stick. Apparently you can like scratch the contact to make it they rust over, and then you can scratch it to make it work a little better. Actually, this stick currently does not work with PS5 games, so you have to play the game on PS4 mode. Thankfully, that hasn't been an issue for any current fighting games, but I'm afraid it might be in the future. And one of the things that kind of threw me off about this stick immediately was actually compared to like a base stick, this has smaller spacing between the buttons. And so like a regular stick, my pinky might come out to like here, like right here, but the button's here, so it took like everything's a little closer. So if you have a bigger hand, it might not work quite as well for you. I know for me it took a little bit to get used to, and I kept like accidentally hitting like an empty space, or like hitting this thing. It was like the top button. And then the last thing I want to talk about is legality, right? So if you guys know Daigo, he actually has a customized hitbox that's called the Gaffer box. And basically it lets you hold left and right at the same time. This actually got banned in CPT, and you can technically do the same inputs here with the Crossup. And so there are some like legality issues that like, hey, if people start abusing, like I'm holding left and then right with this, and you're not cleaning your SOCD inputs, which you can do with this. There's like a SOCD on, SOCD off, but basically it's a fancy way of saying that when you hold left and right, does it cancel out the button, or does it prioritize the input? If it cancels out the button, it's okay. If it doesn't, then you could be cheating. And so, you know, like there is some legality issues, and you never know. People have had tournaments like Full Schedule, he's gotten a stick banned mid tournament, and I'd hate for that to, you know, happen to someone that plays on Crossup. The other con I see is that there's no touchpad button, and so in order to like access like a recording, the way I do it and like the way they say is if you press start and the 2 rightmost buttons at once, and left and right on the control stick, access 2 extra buttons, which kind of works. But when I'm doing it, like I'll occasionally like I'll accidentally sometimes get a restart of the game, which is kind of a shame. But other times you can record. So it's like you have to have really good execution and training mode to get to record stuff. So yeah, that's a lot of cons, right? But in exchange, you get 4 extra buttons. So what are these buttons good for? Well, let's talk about it. So the first thing is you can press a button a lot faster, right? So the reason I chose this game is that you can actually see the number by the direction, which means that's the number of frames. The more frames, the more time it takes for a button to come out. Well, so when I hit down, down, so you saw there is a 4 frame gap there, right? That's me doing as fast as I can. You know, it looks like I can like maybe, yeah, about 4 is like consistently the fastest I can do. If you use a directional button, so you see I can like consistently, if I double tap, get 2 or 1. So I can press a button twice a lot faster. And this is any of the directions, right? So if I'm playing with a control stick and I want to press something really fast, I can just double tap one of these buttons right here. The other thing that this is really good for, let's say I'm holding down back, right? One of the other weird things about having a control stick and then this is that different games will interpret your inputs differently, right? So for example, if I'm holding down back and I hit up, in Guilty Gear, I'll get an up back input. But in this game, if I hit up, I get a neutral input or a neutral jump input. Kind of weird. And then if I do on the other mode, which is like by hitting this switch right here, I don't even get a jump. Oh, this actually lets you do really quick teabags. Dang, I guess this is how you teabag in multi. That's crazy. But the point I'm trying to make here is that like different games interpret inputs different ways. And so depending on the game, you're going to have different advantages. So I'm just going to cover all the basic advantages. So let's say I just had a hitbox, right? This is as fast as you can teabag on a hitbox. So if I'm playing on Crossup though, I can use this to go left and then I can press it down to teabag really, really fast. I mean, it's not just about teabagging applications. The faster you can do something, the better, right? So like if I'm doing a charge move, I can literally hold forward for 1 frame and I can get my charge back right away. So some of the other ways that I do it, let's say I want to up back out of pressure. So fuzzy jumping is a technique where you do a delayed jump to get out of something, right? And it requires you from going down back, up back, and then down back again. The goal of fuzzy jumping is to do as quick as possible. So if I do this, it looks like it took 2 + 4 + 2 frames. So it took 8 frames total for me to fuzzy jump out. So if I use the cross up, all I have to do is tap this button once. So let's see how long this takes. 2 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames. Right, so if I'm trying to block against this and I'm trying to like also protect against a throw, right, I can up back. And like I didn't get here, I didn't get hit there, didn't get hit there, but I got hit there, right? And it's because I'm not holding down back for a while. So the longer I can hold down back, the less likelihood I can get caught. And so just doing this, it's a lot less likely I'm gonna get hit because I'm holding up for less frames. And then let's say they don't do that, and I just jump out of the way. So I think it's really, really good for fuzzy jumping. Let's say also you're trying to react to a move. Think like Axel full screen command grab, right? It's way quicker to tap up, right? Because this is 1 frame. This is literally 1 frame and you're up, as opposed to going down back at the up where it takes, you see, it takes 3 extra frames for you to jump using the control stick as compared to pressing the button. So this is actually one of the most common things I'll do is like, if I'm trying to react to something where I need to jump, those 3 frames or 2 frames, like they matter a lot, right? This works on hitbox. Not all these are exclusive to Crossup. It's more of like taking the strong points of a hitbox and applying them to a Crossup. Yeah, it also works on pad. That's the funny thing is like, how are you going to ban this when technically all pad players can do this too? You just do the same technique and go like this, right? Yeah, obviously backdashing is way faster because anything that requires 2 inputs in the same direction is a lot quicker, right? I think the other cool thing is you can like walk block with this, right? So let's say I want to walk. You can instantly block, right? Assuming you're not cleaning your SOCD inputs. Hold forward, down back, hold forward, down back, and you're instantly blocking. As opposed to if I'm walking forward and then down backing, you see how there's that down arrow and then it says 2? That means it took me 2 extra frames to block. Those are 2 frames that, well, you could have got hidden, right? Not to mention the probably extra frame or 2 that my control stick is still on forward because it's not, I don't snap to down instantly, right? Okay, but I hope that made sense, YouTube. I personally don't use the extra buttons just in case like they get banned later. I don't want to get too reliant on the technology, but I do use it sometimes like to teabag or to jump out of certain situations. And I'm going to start implementing it slowly more as I get used to the controller. Even after 8 months, I still have a lot to learn, surprisingly. But yeah, overall, I like my purchase. It also really like satisfies my inner lab geek. I like labbing out a lot of stuff, and this makes like certain techniques that might not be feasible now not feasible, which is like really cool to me. So yeah, if you guys like the content, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Really helps out the channel. And if you learned anything or found anything insightful, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, of course. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.